Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am Karissa Niehoff, the Executive Director of the Connecticut Association of Schools and the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference. And I am very proud to be here today with David Rader, co-founder of BookBugs. And hopefully in the next few minutes, during our discussion about BookBugs, we will get all of you watching this interview excited about the program, and hopefully so excited that you want to bring it into your schools and your districts. So David, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
And thank you for doing this, and we're so happy to be able to talk about BookBugs. Can you just give us a quick rundown? What is BookBugs?
Yeah, sure. So BookBugs is what's called a benefit corporation, which means that we are designed to give back to the communities we serve as well as to our shareholders. So the way we do that is by selling books, children's books, and for every 3 books we sell, we donate 1 to children in need and children in the communities where we're working. And our biggest product is a subscription service that's individually tailored for each child. So a child will give us information about his or her reading level, his favorite books, his interests, his activities, and from that, we're going to send a book each month that's personally chosen based on that background, their Lexile level, so it's going to get a little harder each month, so that over the course of a year, that child's reading skills will hopefully progress by an appropriate amount by continuing to read the books that we send and that they should be excited about.
Oh, that's tremendous. Can I ask what inspired you?
Yeah.
Because this is co-founded with a classmate, correct?
Yes, that's right.
How did that happen?
So we've talked on and off about using the power of capitalism and sort of consumer mindsets to make a real difference in the world for a long, long time. And so finally we heard about businesses that were using this kind of model of you buy and we'll give. And so there's companies like Tom's Shoes, Warby Parker right now, when you buy a pair of glasses, they'll donate a pair of glasses to someone in need. And we said, well, that's great, but how important would it be, how valuable would it be if we could do this with books, which are such a fundamental component of education. There's so many kids in the world today who grow up without books. We've seen statistics that I'm sure you and many of the people watching have seen, saying in low-income neighborhoods there's 1 book for every 300 kids, and that's, to us, meant an opportunity. We can sell books. There's over $3 billion worth of kids' books sold every year, and what if that money was used to give back to those 299 out of 300 kids who don't have the kind of access that we provide? And so that's what we hope to do.
Wow. And where do you get the books? How do you decide which books are...
Sure. So we have access to basically every book that's been written. We have a distributor who we work with, which, funny enough, was the same distributor that Amazon started with when they used to get all their books. So roughly the same, or most of the same books that they get. Anything you would want, we have access to. So what we do for our subscriptions is we send a book by an award-winning author. And we're talking about authors who have won Caldecott's, Newberry's, Geisel Awards, major award-winning authors, and we're going to send books by them so that we know that, hey, this is a good book. This is something that people have liked in the past. We do also have a few librarians and teachers who have helped us kind of form that list of books to send, those authors to send. And then for schools, what we can do is send, again, any book that they're interested in. So we've worked with school districts we worked with a charter school system, Green Dot Schools in California, to send them a whole bunch of books that they were ordering for their classrooms. English reading books, some textbooks that they were looking for, anything like that. And for every 3 that we gave them, we donated 1 to a child in their schools who didn't have reading books at home, who went home to a house where they didn't have access to books. And we said, you're buying these books anyway. We'll give you a pretty reasonable price on them, close to what you would get from other distributors. And then on top of that, we're going to donate books to your kids. So the net number of books that you get is greater than you would get through anyone else because we're donating these books to your kids.
Because it's donation. Yeah. So in the perfect BookBugs world in Connecticut, what would it look like, your relationship with schools, and how do we establish that?
Sure. So me and my co-founder Ryan both grew up in Connecticut, and so it's always been our goal to try to give back to the many kids here who have less access. My mom has worked in a couple of she's a teacher and has worked in a couple of school districts that were a little bit more on the low income side. And so what we want to do is go to those school districts and really any schools in the state and say, why don't you offer this to your kids? if it's something that you're interested in, let them buy these children's books, buy our subscriptions, and for every 3 we send them, we're going to donate a book. And to some school districts, we're going to give those and schools individually, we're going to give those books back to kids within that same school. We can give it to the school library, we can give it to classroom libraries, or we can just donate these books directly to kids who need them. And then for kids in wealthier districts, we can send them, we'd do the same thing. Have those subscriptions, and then the books that are donated as a result of that will stay in Connecticut. We have a goal. We're working with a partner in Hartford, Compass Youth Collaborative, who has several schools, programs at several schools in inner city Hartford, and we donated last year over 60 books to one of their schools, giving each child in that program their own book. And our goal this year is to donate one to every child within the Compass network. So several hundred kids, but we need to find schools and partners to help get the word out, and that will help us get these books to these kids.
So it sounds like, and then the SuperBugs is the subscription.
Yes, that's the name of the subscription.
The subscription.
Yep.
So schools can be working with you, and books come in through schools to kids and back to kids. Tell me a little more about what, let's say, an individual family might do.
Sure.
Yeah.
So an individual family can do basically the same thing. So at our website, bookbugs.net/superbugs subscriptions, we can have you sign up for your own SuperBugs subscription. And that's where you'll get the new book each month. And you'll fill out a brief survey with your child's information that'll help us to provide the perfect books. And then what we'll do is for schools, we'll give a discount code good for 10% off. And we'll be able to track each purchase based on that school. So we'll know if we're here in Cheshire today, if the Cheshire school, a student at a Cheshire school buys one of these subscriptions, we'll be able to track that and say to that school, what would you like? We've got this donated book. We can give it to you. We can give it to someone else. Whatever works best for you guys.
Wow.
And so we can have, you can pass on that discount code to parents, to family, to whoever wants, teachers, and that can be used for any book, any subscription, and we can then use that to match those donations to that school.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So if I'm a teacher or hopefully a school principal who might be interested in pursuing this, and I know that this year I need to order this title book for my classrooms, this many, I typically go to vendor A.
Yeah.
Could I go to BookBugs and get those same books?
Absolutely. So what we would love to do is we have a site up, bookbugs.net/educator-resources, and if you go to that, you'll see a little bit more information along with my email address, which is dave@bookbugs.net, and feel free to email me, because what we'll do is we'll get you set up so that we can use that discount code. We can send you any books you want, and again, we have the same we use the same distributors as any of the big guys. We have access to the same books, only when we make profits, we use much of that to make these donations. That's what it means to be a benefit corporation to us, and that's the difference between buying from these, the big companies that have great selection, but we have the same thing and we give back to the communities as a result.
That to me sounds like an absolute win-win in a much bigger
we
sense.
hope so.
and so it's what they're really investing and getting a return on their investment as well, which is coming right back.
Exactly. So the whole idea in this benefit corporation world is that you can buy from many different vendors in the world, and we just happen to be one where rather than making a company that the investors make huge returns on, we try to say, no, we're going to give those returns back to the communities, and that's kind of what we do with our profits, rather than putting them into growing a huge shareholder returns.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Before we do the contact information again, David,
Sure.
Is there anything else in closing about BookBugs that we can tell our principals and hopefully get them more motivated than ever to do this program and bring it to your schools?
Of course. So I would just say the last thing I would add is that, I don't think it's uncommon for schools to do kinds of book drives and say, here's a way to buy books that we recommend as a teacher, as a principal, as a librarian. I think that what we try to say is, why don't we can do a job of that where we'll donate books, and we're going to make sure that it's sort of scientifically and algorithmically shown to be a book the child is likely to enjoy. So I guess what I would try to say last is, we're a great way to buy any books. The subscriptions are a great way to get the best ones that your child will love. But most of all, what we're most excited about is the giving back element. So we can tell school districts and schools and principals that when you buy from us, when your parents buy from us, they're also benefiting. And that's what we're really trying to talk about.
That's fantastic. So how do we get you again?
Yeah.
Which contact?
So Dave at BookBugs.net. Would be my email information, and I'm happy to talk to anyone and try to get it set up. You can also go to bookbugs.net/educator-resources to learn a little bit more about the educator programs, or bookbugs.net/superbugs/subscriptions to find more on the subscription service.
Right.
We have a cute little video there to explain it a little bit that kids can understand.
And we have that on our website, I believe. We have a link
Yes.
to the program and the video that you shared earlier.
That's right.
So
That's
more
right.
information also on our website, which you should be visiting regularly anyway. So David, thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
What a pleasure,
Karissa.
and we absolutely wholeheartedly support the program. We will do whatever we can to support you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you're doing for our schools.
Oh, we appreciate it, and thank you and all your users.
You bet. Thank you.